let's get into another one here. This is probably the most confusing of all the position battles
Yes.
on this team, because we talked about the backup running back spot. There's 4 guys fighting for that thing here. You'll notice there's a lot of people in the picture here. There's 5 in the picture as we talk about the position battle for the left guard position. So you got Jermaine Eluemunor, who right now is listed as the starter in practices at left guard. We think he should play right tackle, but they got him at left guard right now. Played well last year with the 68.7 PFF grade for the Raiders. Played with the offensive line coach, Carmen Bricillo, at stops in Las Vegas and New England, including last year with the Raiders. He's a true veteran. He's got 87 games overall, played 45 starts, and he is definitely an upgrade over anyone who played left guard last season. Sorry, Ben Bredesen. He's the only one I have respect for that we played there. I should say that. I respect other guys who play there, but I don't respect their game of where they're at currently. I guess that's a better way of wording it.
Yeah, it's a little more fair.
So the problems you run into with Jermaine Eluemunor, he's already 29. He peaks at average to a little above average. Let's be honest, we talked about him all throughout this offseason because Rob and I, the day we signed Bricillo, were like, Jermaine Eluemunor, Jermaine Eluemunor, Jermaine Eluemunor.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that night. Because he's a great, he reminds me of like that Nick Gates kind of guy, that lunch pail lineman who just tell me where you want me to play and I'll play it well. We'll never play it amazing. We'll never go to a Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
You just tell him where you want him to play and he'll go there and he'll play it well.
He'll plug that hole for you. Hey.
Yeah. And he's also, but again, we talked about the fact he's played right tackle the last couple of years. He hasn't played guard since 21. So you're taking him out of position. That's not usually something you want to do on the offensive line, If I had to guess on who's number 2 right now in that position, because the Giants haven't released any kind of official depth chart like that, Aaron Stinnie, who was a veteran as well. He's got 31 games overall, 12 starts in his career, coming off a best season where he had 11 games started overall and a 56.6 PFF grade. Now, when I say 11 games started last year and 12 games overall, that does not include the Super Bowl run the Bucs went on when he started almost the entire postseason because of injuries to the team. He was a starting guard for the Super Bowl winning team at the Super Bowl. So he's got a little experience in that regard. And the run game last year improved once he got in the starting lineup. I can tell you again, somebody who lives in the Tampa Bay area, they didn't run the ball basically the first half of the year. The second half of the year, when they started playing better, is because they developed a running game. Aaron Stinnie was the biggest change to the offensive line. It's not to say it all goes on him. It's a line, it's a group, it's a unit. But he deserves a decent amount of the credit because he was one of the changes. The problem you run into, though, same as Eluemunor. He's 30 years old. He's not a young guy. He's not a guy you're developing. He's just there. He's already probably peaked as well. And the peak isn't that high. We're talking about 56.6 PFF grade, guys. Again, I know PFF's not everything, but it's a stat you can give easily on a lineman.
Correct.
So it's not like he's an amazing player. Other options, you got Josh Azudu, who they seem to really want to make a swing tackle. And potentially a replacement for Neal if he doesn't play very well, as we expect. You got Marcus McKeithen, who had a really, really low 45.4 PFF grade last season, 16 games, 5 starts. And he wasn't a high-level prospect to begin with, guys. Now, he was also coming off an ACL injury last year. He's also still very young, could improve. I'm not down on him to the point where I'm saying let's cut him and get rid of him. I'm not down on him like I am on like Eric Gray, for example. But I'm just saying.
He's just gray and gray.
I just think that expecting huge, amount of, output out of a late round pick is just crazy. But that's not what they are. Late round picks, you hope they're going to be your bench guys for a while.
Pretty much.
It's great if they're the starter, but that's the expectation. you might as well just not have any late round picks because you'll be disappointed. The truth. You got Austin Schlottman, who is a veteran as well. 67 games under his belt, 14 starts, but plays best at center. He also had a 62.6 PFF grade last year. So you got a lot of options here. But again, it seems that the Giants are hell-bent on force-feeding their draft picks in, which would mean Eluemunor wouldn't slide to right tackle necessarily. Maybe we'll talk about that in a minute, though. Spoiler. But if Eluemunor ends up moving to right tackle, this is going to be a heated competition, guys, for that left guard spot. And honestly, maybe this is me just being down on Joe Shane's drafting because I've had some issues with it in the past. We've talked about that before. I'm not a huge fan of the way he drafts. Marcus McKeithen's not that good. Josh Azudu, his horrible hand placement has not been very good either. And they seem to want to make him a tackle for some reason. That would basically mean to get Aaron Stinnie and Austin Schlottman competing for left guard. I don't know who I think would win in that. I
don't know.
We haven't seen Schlottman as a guard in a couple of years. He's been a center last year, so we'd have to see. But like I said, it's one of those things that if Eluemunor goes down or moves over a different position, it's going to be interesting. That'd be an interesting battle to keep an eye on there, guys.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.